Welcome to Animation Principles in the 24th and a half century!
Hey everybody, today we're going to learn a little bit about how to make your camera move around in harmony. So that's what my camera sees right in here, okay? When you bring this in, it just starts off with a drawing. I'm going to put some shapes in here. So I'm going to take my tool here and I'm just going to make some shapes like this, various shapes, and I'm going to color them. Just like there's one. Let's see, let's put this one back here. Let's make this a little darker, not so vibrant. There we go. All right, there we go. Shapes here. Give a little bit of different shapes like that. Just making some shapes here. And let's put some other things in here. So I'm going to add another layer. This is going to be my city, I guess, cityscape. So this will be city 2. Kind of in the background there. Close. So city 2, we're just going to just make some buildings, interesting buildings here. It's even darker. Like this. Maybe just a little variety like that. All right. Right now I've made a bunch of shapes here. So I'm going to put some of these on different layers. Just do that. So make a bunch of layers here like this. Let's see, call this city 1. Add, and let's see what we got here. Yeah, so we made a bunch of city things here. So this is city 1, that's city 2. That's my drawing right there. So I'm going to put some of these guys. I'm going to grab this one here. We'll copy him. We'll paste him on a different layer. And then we'll go back to our other one here. Let's see, where's that one? Oh, this one. All right, so this one we'll put on a different layer, copy this one, and we'll put them over here on this layer over here. I'm going to show you how to do this. So we have this plus button. I'm going to go to camera. So when you have your camera, you have to kind of, first of all these layers are all one frame. So what I'm going to do is just grab all of them like this. Oops. Grab everybody. And then I'm going to push Shift plus just to kind of give them a little bit of room here. There we go. All right, so I've got a camera now. Now, this is a nice thing about this is you have over to the side here, you have tool properties, but you have this plus button here. If you push that plus button, you can actually bring up a whole list of different choices here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into top. Top is like kind of shows you what your camera is seeing. So right in that little triangle right there, that's my camera. If we were looking down at the set right now, all those buildings are one on top of the other. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in to each one of these buildings and we're going to bring them kind of forward a little bit. So that means I'm going to go in between the city 1 and right here and the plus button. I'm going to tap that twice, and when it does that, it brings up this control right here. It's called element. Okay, it has a whole bunch of different controls on here. So this is what we're going to be using And if I can just bring this over here, you can look in your camera view over here at top, and then you can see what's going on over here on the screen. So I'm going to actually bring him, click on his this axis here, and I'm going to make a keyframe. I'm going to go to frame 1, and I'm going to make a keyframe right there. Now, when I move this keyframe backwards or forwards, see, he's getting kind of closer. So if you look in my top view over here, you'll see this highlighted view. I'm going to grab him and just bring him up a little closer like that to our screen. All right. So now you can see how this blue building is right there, and our camera's there. It's looking here, and everything else in the background. So what I'm going to do is I got him kind of there. Get out of there. And now I'm going to go to the next one. Next one, I've got these two buildings. They're kind of in the back. And I've got these guys very far back. So I'm going to take this group here. I'm going to click between the name and the plus button. Click twice, and it pops this up. And you can go into Z. So this is right here. Click on that twice. There we go. Bring this back to 1 and make another keyframe. So that keyframe allows me to move my stuff. Let me move this around so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's my kind of character buildings. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like over here on the screen. So I'm just going to bring that forward even more. So now you can see how that looks. Bring it up. So now you can see how we've got kind of the blue building on one side, these guys in another, and then we have another group of buildings back there. So we're just trying to set up a scene here. Okay. So we're calling this city 2. These are the two guys right here. And you can see how I've already made this. It's already kind of put this in my library right there. Again, the top view, we're going to click on these guys right here. Sorry, not those, these guys. They're in the back. Click on them twice, bring this up, go up to Z axis, click it twice, and make another keyframe. And if you can't see the keyframe, you can always push this button here. It's called, it'll center it. It's called reset view. So if you ever lose it, like if I move it like this, and I'm like, oh no, it's gone, I can't get it. Just push this button, and it pops right there. So now you can see how I moved it up a little bit. Well, I don't want to go up there. I actually want to bring it back. So I'm kind of bringing that view back like that. Giving you a little depth there, all right? A little bit more this way. Oops, 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 sorry. Use that to kind of see where you're at, okay. So this gets a little claustrophobic, especially if you have one screen here. But see, now you can see there's the blue building here. There's another building over here. We've got some guys back here. So I'm going to just adjust this one too. Since I still have them here, I'm going to go into the x-axis. I'm going to click on x-axis. I'm going to go back to 1, make another keyframe right there. There it is. It's down there. See? There it is. So now I'm going to move over. Here, I'm just going to move this up, move this down a little bit. See, I'm getting a little into the middle there. Bring it down. There we go. There we go. And you know, they're all the same height. So what I'm going to do is see if I can bring this up in Y. So I'm going to click off of that and go to my Y axis now. Click on that, make a keyframe. And now I'm going to bring them up, bring those buildings up. There we go. Row the buildings up a little bit. You don't want to get them too high because as you can see, I'm running out of room there. So it's kind of ruining the illusion right there. So I'll bring it down a little bit lower like that. There we go. And again, if you have this on one layer, I'm going to lock these other layers just so I don't click on them. I'm actually going to grab this layer here and just bring him up a little bit more like that. Okay, so he is kind of tall there. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. There we go. Okay, hold on. There's my top view right there. I'll put myself into hand mode here so I can actually move around. So right in this here, that's where your camera is looking out this way. And we're seeing these elements, right? Okay, so we also have this view here called side view. So you can see what it looks like from the side. So right now you can see those are all the elements right there. The nice thing about this is you could actually, instead of having to go into this and change it all here, you can actually grab that and move it down where you want it to. So that's a side view. So you can see kind of the distance between the two. That. Right? All right, so now we have this camera. This is what the camera sees. But we need to move the camera. So instead of moving the camera, you need to actually attach what's called a peg. So we'll push our plus button, we'll go to peg, and we've attached the camera to the peg. All right, so wherever the camera peg goes, that camera is going to go. So I put pegs on my city because I can actually move my city around if I wanted to. But for this, I'm just going to show you how to use the peg on the camera. So we're going to have to put some keyframes here. So we're going to start off like maybe 20 frames, just going to show the city. So I'm going to make on my peg of my camera, I'm going to say make a keyframe. So the camera is not going to move for 20 frames, and then it's going to start to move. So we're going to have it go to like 60 frames in here. I'll put another keyframe. Now, what happens, I have the keyframes on, but to make this work, I need to actually turn this transform button on right here. All right, so as you can see, it does that. So I'm going to turn that on. And now what's going to happen, it's kind of lit up here, so it knows this is where it's going to go. So we're actually going to move our camera. So I'm going to that last keyframe, and I'm going to grab the camera right here, and I'm going to bring it like through like this, you know, that. I'm also going to the side view here. Maybe I want to make it go up a little bit, you know, or maybe go down. It should go down maybe. So now I've set a keyframe right at the end. So it's kind of doing this. So if I go to the beginning, you kind of see the whole place. And as you go through, you notice you're kind of different. There's like a depth now because like that blue on this side of the screen is going faster than the stuff over here because it's farther away from that. So it's kind of going through like this. And I can increase my timeline. It always comes in at 60, but you can go in here. All right, so there's my red line. I'm going to bring it all the way up 5, 10, like 200 frames. That's pretty good. I'm also going to click on here, all my layers. Oh, there we go. So 2 at a time is fine. Maybe it's just a timing thing. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so you can do Shift plus. So what I've done is extended my timeline out to 200 frames here. So now I can have some fun with the moving the camera around. So as you can see down here, it's going from 20 frames sitting there at the beginning. It's giving you this point of view. And then it's starting to kind of move out. And when it moves out, it goes at the same rate right now. It's it's going out the same amount of spacing. See? It's very spaced like that. So now I'm gonna go out to here and do some more work here. So I'll put another keyframe here, and let's see. All right, so let's go back to my camera layer. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see all the frames. Oops, wrong way. There we go. So you can see what's happening from above. So my camera's kind of going this way. Now we're encountering these kind of guys, but we're kind of going inside, not where I want to go. So I'll go to the side view, and you can see where the camera is. It's way low like that. So I'm actually going to bring my camera up. So I'm going to, oops, not that one. Let's Control Z that. I'm going in for this camera right here. There we go. I selected the camera. I'm going to move them up like this. Move them up like that. We'll go to the top view. We can see kind of where he is. We'll move him a little over this way. He's going that way. Now we can kind of preview what's happening here. Okay, so it gets kind of flat like right now. All right, so again, we start with this. This is what it's going to look like. Right? You can see how right now it's going, the spacing is very even right in here. And what happens if it gets too far apart, it kind of strobes. So to help that out, we do what's called ease in and ease out. So instead of just suddenly we're not moving and we're going at a certain rate through here like this, what we're going to do, you can see how this thing kind of zips out of the way. So, so we might have to put some ease and ease on that layer because it does look a little distracting, like it's move that building out of the way. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through here and show you how to put in the ease in and ease out. Go between, whatever you want to change, you would go between the name and this plus sign. You click it twice. That pops up. So this is your camera path right now. And right now it's on 3D. I usually put on separate so I can kind of control like all the different elements, but let's see if it works on here. This is actually for everything. So I'm going to actually click on that. And you can see when you do that, this is your curve right now. This is like the X, and you've got the Y. So that's the Y. And this is the Z right here. So the Z is going, that's the thing that's going forward. So right now it's pretty straightforward, and then it kind of slows down here. So you can actually click on this thing twice. You can click on it once, and then you can go over to this little thing here. This is called your vector velocity editor. So with that, it's a whole other thing. So you can see right now it's very straight. Now, you're trying to make this thing kind of ease out of the driveway. Like a car, it doesn't just go out of the driveway at 60 miles per hour. It starts off 1, 2, 5, like that. It kind of goes up. So once you click on this little yellow triangle appears. You can click on that and pull it out. As you pull it out, what's happening is it's making that curve. So the farther out you go, the slower it's going to start. So we can start it about here like this. Now, if you go back, all this stuff kind of pops up. You can see how the curve now, it starts off, it's still very slowly getting faster towards this point right now. And if you don't believe me, you can actually go up here and scroll through it yourself. Again, I got all these windows popping up here. You're going to have to move things around a little bit. But if you see it now, if I go into my beginning here, you can kind of scroll through and you can see how it starts off at 20. It starts off very slowly. It gets faster. And it's kind of going into its thing in here. All right, here it is. You can see how based on this curve, suddenly it's getting faster. And it's hitting here and it's like full speed ahead right in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to play around with this one right here. We're going to click on this. Now we can see some other stuff. So we can actually pull this out and have it kind of slow down in there. We can click on this one and pull this out a little bit. And then we can actually pull this one out a lot more. So here we kind of see in it, it's going to slow down at a certain part. Let's see if that looks good. So he's kind of going along, getting kind of fast, and then it starts to slow down here. So we really want this to slow down a lot more. It's not really slowing down that much. So you click it again, and you just basically, you make this longer. So it's going to just slowly get into this nice curve here. We can adjust the curve a little like that. You can actually get into this one and move this one down a little bit more. So now you've got this nice kind of S curve kind of thing going on. Now if we look at this, you can see how it starts off very slowly. And this is just for the zoom, the Z. So and we've got this speed it goes through here, it's going pretty fast. So just your Z. So you notice that when you have it on a separate channel here, it's changed completely. So we're going to click on this one and see if we can change it here as well. All right, so this is the thing I'm not sure about, because it looks like this is all on one path. And this is where it's all like controlling the same thing kind of on one layer. Like all the layers are connected. That's why it's called 3D, like everything is connected there. So let me see if I can change that. So go over to our camera, give it a couple taps, bring this up. This time we're going to go into separate layer. So the separate layer, when you open it up, like on X, right now there's nothing there. So this is where you got to kind of override this system. So what we're going to do is kind of see where we're at. We're here at 20. So we're going to make a keyframe at 20. It says 20 frame right there. Then we're going to kind of go forward into here. What is he doing? Cat's trying to get in the house here. So if we go to 60, and we make another keyframe there, and then we can go to 91, which is where the next one is, right here, 91. You can click on keyframe, and there it is. We made the keyframe. So this is, right now, it's very flat. So it's not moving. That's not doing what I want to do. So, okay, so he's not moving. Camera is pretty flat right here. So what we're going to do is if we click on here,
Go it, get out of here.
What's he doing? Oh, okay. So I'm wrong. It does this. So what we can do is we can go to the different things here. It's separate. So now if I click on here, you notice it doesn't have that motion at all. It gets really confusing here. All right. So how do we set this up so everybody can kind of get an idea of what's going on? All right. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I need this separate. If I go like this on the 3D path, it still goes the same way. But I think what's happening here is every one of these things are being controlled kind of the same way. You can't individually slow this down. You can't have it go this way in X. Slow that down unless you go into this. So this is confusing. All right. Well, let me show you a different way. So this is separate. So when I switch it to separate, what happens is it starts off same way the whole time. So we do have a keyframe for our y-axis right now. Let's see. We have this. This is our x-axis right now. What I did is I kind of just played with this like that. And let's see if that even does anything. Doesn't do much. Okay. So once I put this together, as soon as I do this, it forgets. I don't have a keyframe there. Put another keyframe here. Move this over, keyframe there. This is our Z. Keyframe there. All right, so we have that. So right now this isn't moving because it's straight. So this is where we're going to have to figure out that motion. So he's going to start here. He's going to go to here. So if I move this, you can see where our camera goes. You can actually get in here and actually bring your camera where you want it to go. And it'll connect, it'll fix your, it'll change your motion here. So if you go to the next keyframe over here, you can just bring your camera over to where you want it to go. It goes in between here. So that's this kind of side view right in here. And what we're going to do is go to this. That's the top view. So the side view looks like this. So we're going to kind of bring them down like that. We'll go up to like there. All right. And now we see. So now it feels like he's kind of a little bit more going out of the way. That's good. All right, so he's kind of going this way. He goes that way. All right. So this is the view right now. So again, this is where you would start. You would click on here, you pull this out, and it gives it, you're easing out of that position. You're getting faster, right? You're coming into the middle point here. I'm going to have to adjust this a little bit. Just want to smooth this out a little bit like this so it's a straight line. And then we're going to go down to this one and we're going to pull this down like that. So now it's going to slow down, pull into the driveway very slowly. So if we go back and actually watch this, you can see how it goes. So it starts off kind of like this, starts to get faster right into here. It's like the fastest point right here. And then it starts to slow down like that. And as it slows down this way, this is the motion right now. Let's see, there's a lot of strobing in through here. It's just going really fast. There's a lot of pace right there. So what we want to do is we want to slow this down. So we have to kind of go back up to our, hit this a couple times. And since it's separate, we're going to go into the Z. So this is what Z looks like right now. I'm sorry, X. This is what X motion looks like. So the X motion is kind of, it's curvy here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this. And we've got our thing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with these curves a little bit. So he's going to kind of start to go this way, and he kind of, right now, he goes very fast into this. So this is where we're going to have to ease it out. So we need to pull this out as much as we can. So now you can see how it's kind of changing the shape here. So now once it does this kind of curve, it means it's kind of coming out pretty slow here. It's getting faster. And at this point, it's going to go really kind of fast. It might even go back and forth. So you'll see what I'm talking about. If I scroll through this, now that X, ooh, it's like a very fast over there. That's that S curve we're looking at. And then it kind of settles in like this. Now again, this is the X moving back and forth, not up and down, just back and forth. So we have to kind of play around with this a lot. Click on here, go to your X, and kind of make this not so crazy if you can. It's going to end up in this position. So what you can do is maybe you want to just pull them up a little bit like that. Just adjust these curves so they're not so crazy. You just want them to be very subtle. Something like this is nice. It also changes your point of view too. So, all right, so now we've got Y. So here's Y. So basically Y is just kind of going along and then it moves up. So what we're going to do, I'm going to change this too. So instead of keeping him down the whole time, we're going to bring him up about halfway. This is where you have to kind of see how this is done. Now, so you start off, kind of goes like that. Now you can actually see how this building's like, it's like a car that takes off. So we might have to adjust this a lot more just to make it so it's not so, get that building out of the way. Yeah, we can do that. Let's get the motion of the camera working right now. That's pretty good. All right, let's get that camera working. So see, right now, it's very fast. So we want to have this thing kind of slowly come into this view. Bring this out a little bit more like this. We want to adjust this layer a little bit more of a curve like that. And we can even bring this down a little bit like that. So it starts off very, starts getting a little bit different, changing up. Just want to get it in a nice gradual, curve here as much as you can. Something like that. Let's see what that looks like. So, like I said, this is something you just have to, it might take some time to do. The camera looks better here. It's kind of going to this point of view, slowing down. Okay. So now you notice this building, this blue one is just has wheels on it. Wheel the building out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. This is a side view. You can actually see that building actually goes backwards a little bit. Top view, the building kind of goes this direction. Okay. So we're going to find that building by just clicking on it. And when we do that, it pops to this layer right here. There's our building. And you can see where the keyframes are right now. So right now, the keyframe is here. And as we move, the building gets out of the way. So it goes a little fast there, obviously. So maybe as we start to come towards it like this, at 50, we're going to have it slowly start to get out of the way, not so abruptly like that. So what we can do is just grab right here, we'll bring it over to there. So now, let's see. It still is kind of like a bus taking off. So as we start to go, so what we could do is we could even start it here. Like as the thing is starting to move, we're going towards it. This thing can get away. So let's bring it all the way to 20. This is, and remember, you can apply that. So see, now it starts to go right off the bat. So this is where we're gonna, takes off, right? So right now it's like, it's obvious. So we're gonna apply ease in and ease out here. It's so easy. So we'll click in here and you'll see what I'm talking about. So that's the Z axis. So see how that is? It's so straight, so linear. So what we're going to do is click on our this twice. Oops. Oh, in this case, it's letting us kind of, we have to go up to this velocity editor. Click on that. Now we have another one. I know it gets confusing. You click on that, you get the little triangle there. You pull your triangle out because it's going to slowly, want this thing to slowly move into this position, right? It's going to slowly go along and move out of the way. So see now, as we start to go towards it, it starts to move out of the way. So right now, it's still very, very fast. So what we'll do is we'll keep him on the ground even more. And there we go. 10. That looks pretty good. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, look at that. That's looking pretty good. That gets out of our way. And we don't have to see, we don't really have to ease out here because it's moving out of our way. We just don't want it to look like a car kind of coming to life. So if we're going forward during this time, we can do that. So maybe we can even move it a little bit more. We can just grab him and bring him over. To do that, you have to get out of this one. You can't really move out of this one either. So to do that, you actually have to grab the keyframe and pull it over. Grab that keyframe and then pull it over. Yeah, there he is. And now let's see what happens. So now we've adjusted it a little bit more. So when he starts to move, the camera actually starts to move forward. And as it starts to move forward, our building kind of goes past like that. Okay. It's not as noticeable now. Still looks a little odd to me, but it looks better, right? All right, so there we go. There's a curve for that building. Turn off all these things so we can actually see this thing. And then you can play it. You can actually play it over here. Kind of play it at speed. Sometimes it looks pretty good. Get an idea what it looks like. You can put loop there and hit it again and watch it several times just to get an idea of what that's going to look like. All right, as you can see, I've got 200 frames here, so that's a lot. So there we go. That's just the beginning there. And again, if you had a background here of like, I don't know, night, stars or something, you can adjust that as well. It's up to you. But this is how you're going to do it. You're going to first make a camera, then you're going to go up here, you're going to attach a peg to it, and you're not going to set keyframes on the camera. You're setting keyframes on the peg. The peg controls where the camera is. And if you open up this square, if you open up this cross, you can see that you have different, it puts all the information here. So you can see how all this stuff is going together. And you can actually go in to each one of these things and create a Bezier if you want to, you know, and affect any of these layers of movement. So here you can see what it's looked like right now. So this is one of those things that Harmony has a lot of. It starts off with you're affecting one layer, but then you can go into that layer and you can affect all this other stuff. We've got scale in here if you wanted to use scale. You've got rotation. If you wanted to rotate your buildings, fine. If not, or the camera, you could rotate the camera. So let's see. Say you're the point of view of the camera, which is here. This is my camera view. Make sure you're on the right one. And right now it's going to go to here. Okay, so it's going to be straightened out. So maybe I want to start off with just angling that camera a little bit, right? I mean, you don't have to, but you can. So if I had it like there, ooh, look at that. Changes the whole composition. So now as I start to go forward, you see how it kind of changes? Maybe you don't want it to do this all at the same time. So the nice thing about this, you could go to that layer and you can just bring this forward by clicking it and holding on to it and saying, you know what, I want to add 40. I want to keep it. I want to keep this kind of, as it starts to move in like this, it's going to rotate like that. See, that's so cool. Right? So you can start your thing off a little like this. And go like that. You got a lot of control with these things. So don't let anybody tell you anything different. This is all helping you out. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do this again. So as you can see, I kind of ruined my effect right here because now it doesn't look like it starts off here and then it goes like that. So this is where I could actually go in, and this is a fun part. You can just find that layer, which is, sometimes you got to turn it on and off. Watch this. So let's see, where's my city? Okay, so one of these guys on this one here, the wrong size. So now what's happening here is if I click on this and I move this down, it's going to change this one as well, which might be okay. So I'm going to use my hand, and then I'm going to go back onto this, and I'm going to go select. There he is. So if I select that individual thing, I can use my lasso like this. And then I can actually pull this down like that. All right, now it did kind of move over. So you can actually adjust it like that, see? So now it looks pretty good. It's not interfering. Going like that, see? Now the thing is, these two are on the same layer. There's no motion on these guys at all. So what I might want to do is just grab this guy like this, highlight him, we'll do a Shift C, or I'm sorry, Control C, we're copying him, and we're just going to put him on a different layer. So we'll just say like, we'll put him on a different layer. We'll call him City 3. City 3. There he is. And we're going to put him right here. City 3. Right on number 1. Go up here, push Control V. There he is. And We'll shift plus that all the way down like this. Now what's happening, he's on a different layer now. So I'm going to go to my original one like this. And I'm actually going to take him out, delete him. When I do that, it doesn't do anything to this one, which is great. So now you can see how he is. So now he's on a different layer. So now when we go by the blue building, we're going to the other building. And now it's almost like they're over there like that. So again, I might want to just move him just a little bit more, city 3. I just want to get him a little bit more over this way, just to kind of break it up a little bit. All right, let's see what that looks like.
So there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed that tutorial. There's a lot on, if you go to the Toon Boom website, there's a lot of tutorials. Just look up Harmony, camera motion, tutorial. You just have different layers. You're putting pegs on those layers, and then you're moving the pegs, not the actual artwork. And you can get some really cool depth of field going. So everything doesn't have to be flat. Like I said, you have things in the foreground and things in the middle and things in the background. When they move, they move at different speeds. So if you have any questions, let me know. And but yeah, go ahead, try it out, see how you like it. This has been the Animation Principles in the 24th and a half century. Thank you for watching.